Muncie, Indiana Dweez here. I just want to say that the console wars from 1972 to 2019 is still going on, still to this day.
Saints take the right away.
From as far back as Gen X and the millennials and the boomers are concerned. It's been going on for at least like 3 generations of people. And it is, you know, not that I'm doubting sorry. Not that I'm doubting anything or any whereabouts like that, but I'm seeing like a lot of consoles trying to destroy each other in the sales war. Like console sales, console sales from you know the time that game consoles reached to become home consoles. I mean, you gotta look at it from a bigger perspective here. I mean, with everything going on between now, you know, from like back in the day, there was said, you know, Pong or like ping pong up until, you know, Dead or Alive 6. The console wars were ongoing. First generation console war, second generation console war, third generation console war. And I'm talking generation as in the generation of people who grew up playing games. And for the longest time, physical yard games, like the ones you would play with your friends, have fallen out of favor. From or probably the early 1800s to 1939, possibly the early 1800s to 1939. And those physical yard games and activities like that were, you know, falling out of favor for board games. And board games from the 1940s to the late 1960s has, you know, been the biggest market ever, along with card games. And card games were a niche pocket, you know, a niche pocket in the 70s, and in the 1970s, the at-home consoles for games were reaching into the public eye back in those days, and card games were quickly falling out of favor up until the early 80s. And this was during the height when the internet was coming around. And when the internet was coming around, bam! A lot of things started changing. Consoles would fall off to the wayside, little by little, year by year. And kids were not playing some of the older game consoles like Atari. Gotta think about this. Atari, like I do believe Atari or the Pong system or whatever system that came out before all the game consoles that we have now came out. And then from like board game manufacturers and play card manufacturing companies would, you know, make board games and card games of the time. And you gotta look at it from another perspective. Board games and card games are being quickly replaced by digital games. Started with PC games, then ended up hitting the marketplace with home console games that we have now. I mean, in some aspects, the kids today are so motherfucking spoiled. Like, I mean motherfucking spoiled. We got like, you know, Minecraft, Roblox, and don't get me started on Roblox, man. It's a fucking mobile game. And we all knew that mobile games were going to be hitting the market. And with everything that's been going on, it's been crazy. We have, you know, Minecraft, Fortnite, Overwatch, all kinds of games. The whole, you know, video game market is so motherfucking massive. It's almost dominating the entire entertainment market. But Hollywood is getting in on that action as well with like video game based TV shows and movies. And probably if not, we have like a lot of things, like we have like a lot of video games that fell off the wayside for years now. Bunch of one and done games, one hit wonders of the video gaming world, and we all see how that ends up. And with everything going on, it's safe to say that video games as a whole has been, you know, garnishing a lot of money, billion-dollar industry. I mean, it's getting to the point where the video game industry is going to be a multi-gajillion dollar, beating out the adult entertainment business. Like, we see a lot of people playing video games these days. And the only other market that rivals that of video games is the anime industry. The anime industry, the cosplay costume manufacturing industry. I mean, it's getting to the point where everybody is getting in on that action. Long gone were the days of physical yard games, and long gone were the days of card games and board games. And we barely have any like mobile games or computer games being marketed these days. I mean, we have not seen board games be advertised anymore. Not since my generation came around. And yes, the 80s and 90s generation of gamers and game consoles were, you know, a big old massive, you know, being a massive industry of, you know, well, during the time of industry of, you know, people. I mean, what is the gaming industry at this point? They're, you know, they've progressed so fast within 10, 20 years. Like, what the fuck? We got hyper fuck shit crazy realistic graphic wielding games these days. I mean, look at all of this. With Saints Row the Third, Saints Row in general, Grand Theft Auto, and Call of Duty. Oh, you name it. If it has a 3D graphics or HD graphics, we have extreme likeliness of, you know, the video gaming industry becoming so motherfucking mainstream it ain't even funny, man. We have virtual reality games. That's how far it's gone. We went from physical yard game activities to virtual reality simulation games. Like, how fast advancing and upgrading is the video gaming industry? Like, that's just getting outrageously insane. From 1972 to 2009, which was a little over a year ago, it is getting crazy.
Is that all you have?
We have a bunch of people playing video games more so than ever. And that's a motherfucking fact. Like, man damn it, dude. Why? Why is, you know, the gaming industry growing ever so large, dwarfing the size of all other industries? I mean, the music business used to be big. Hollywood used to be big. Physical and yard activities used to be big. Like, physical yard gaming activities were big. And the card gaming businesses were big. Board gaming businesses were big. And yes. And I prophesize that that ever-growing need and the supply and the demand of said video games is gonna dwarf even the tobacco industry, where people is just blowing all their money on you know, said, you know video games that are egregiously expensive, to where even the tobacco industry has to close their doors. We've seen game developing companies come and go. Like, oh, poor little old back in the day gaming company. Wah, boo-hoo. You couldn't cut it, dude. As where the bigger portion of the you know, in gaming industry, like, it's on par with the mega giants in the game developing underworld. Like, you have like a lot of and I mean egregiously a lot, of, you know, of said video game companies going about this whole thing. And we have, you know, egregious prophetic business ventures for video gaming companies. And one day, mark my motherfucking words, one day, the gaming industry will be the only industry that will become an oversight, you know, an oversight of anything that comes to mind. I mean, look at all the crap that's been going on. I mean, I'm just talking sense right here. Like, the industry of said,
hope you're ready to save some cash and kick some ass.
I mean, it's getting to the point where everybody's getting in on the action. One day moderators, or not moderators, but modders of the gaming industry, or the fans, are going to become the last generation of the gaming industry, due to ever grow in massive number. I mean,
did I upload that podcast?
I mean, with, like, you know, Hollywood selling out their properties to video gaming industries. I mean, look at all the evidence that backs this claim. There is no basis on, you know, deceitful claims that the video game developing industry is becoming more massive than ever. And every console that's ever, you know, or every variation of every console that's ever came out. I mean, look at the PlayStation 1. Like, the PlayStation 1 all the way to the PlayStation 5. 5 generations of PlayStation game consoles. And who knows how many generations of the Xbox game consoles or Nintendo consoles are on par. The one or two timeless console type of gaming is mobile games and or the PC games. The PC is about, you know, well, we all know that mobile games are gonna die off someday.
Watch it.
And with everything that's going on, times are changing, and everything else is changing. I mean, granted that
Hey, watch what you're doing.
and yes,
Boss, pay attention.
Yeah, but anyways, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications, and share the videos.